Hello and welcome to another Orange Coast College mathematics video. In this video, we're going to look at factoring perfect square trinomials. Now, what we're looking at is when we multiply out a plus b times a plus b. In other words, when we square a plus b, if we use whatever method you want here, you end up with a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, right? So it's the first term squared, the second term squared, and then you'll also have twice the product of each term. And if you replace a plus b with a minus b, you end up with much the same thing. You get an a squared, b squared, and then you'll have negative 2 times the product of the two terms here. Okay. Now, factoring, when you're given something like this, factoring it back into this is really just a matter of knowing the formulas. Okay, let's check the steps to factor a perfect square trinomial. Step 1 is always the same. Factor out the greatest common factor. Okay. Once you've done that, check that the polynomial is a perfect square. So it's going to basically be a sum of two squares, right? A squared plus b squared, and then twice the product of their square roots. Okay. Or it'll be negative 2 times the product of their square roots. But that's what you're looking for, is something that fits either one of these two expressions. Once you have done that, once you've identified that you have a perfect square trinomial, then just factor using the formulas. This is going to be a plus b squared. This is going to be a minus b squared. Finally, you can check your work. We start with a simple example. We note that the first term is a perfect square, x squared, and the constant term is also a perfect square. It's 5 squared, right? 25 is 5 squared. And the only thing to notice is that the middle term is 2 times 5 times x. So if I write this out, it becomes x squared plus 2 times 5x plus 5 squared. So we have x squared, 5 squared, and then this other term here is twice the product of 5 and x. So this will factor using the formula into x plus 5 squared. And that's it. Here we have a slightly more complicated example. So first step might be to check also, is there a common factor amongst these three terms? But there is not. But we notice the first term, 4y squared, could be written as 2y quantity squared. The third term could be written 9z squared, could be written as 3z quantity squared. And then all we have to notice is that the middle term, negative 12yz, right? That is in fact negative 2 times the product of 2y and 3z, right? 2y times 3z would give me 6yz. So negative 2 times 6yz would give me negative 12yz. So we have negative 2 times 6yz. And so we can factor this into 2y minus 3z using the formula quantity squared. And that's it. Here we have one last example. Again, first step, look at these three terms and ask, do we have common factors? And the answer is yes. All three terms are divisible by 3, and we also have a common factor of x. So you can first factor out the greatest common factor, 3x. You will have left over x squared plus 10x plus 25. And once again, this is the same trinomial we had in the first example. You have x squared plus 5 squared, and then the middle term is 2 times 5 times x. So this will factor into 3x times x plus 5 squared, like that. And that's it. And there you have factoring perfect square trinomials. Once again, the main strategy you're going to want for factoring these sorts of polynomials is repetition. Lots of practice will make these kinds of polynomials easier to identify. And then once you've identified something as a perfect square trinomial, the factoring is usually the more straightforward part. Anyway, keep practicing this, and until next time, have fun.